Alright, this is a unique multi-mixer. This is going to be an interesting, I found this on eBay. And actually the guy that I bought it from is only about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours down the road. I don't know what the bag's for. This is to put all this confetti in. It's a really unique flywheel. The flywheel, friction wheel. Oh wow, this stuff's everywhere. I don't know how I'm going to get it out of there. Oh, there's a big glob. I guess it's a good thing you put that bag in there, huh? I don't know how to get it out of here. So what this thing is, it's a very early model. Very early model of the Prince Castle Multimixer. And covered in confetti. Get it out of there. I'll set it up on here and then we'll take a look at it. Okay, we got bad news. This thing got busted. Right in there, you'll see a huge crack, and there's one on the other side of this spindle as well. The spindle was just broken off of that. Zoom in there. See that? It's broken. The plate underneath the spindles was also cracked. And it was cracked all the way across from the outside to the inside of that ring that goes all the way around underneath the spindle. Well, I'm going to call it a spindle plate because I really don't know what it's called. And you can see where the multi-mixer cut through the lightweight confetti, slammed into the side of the box and damaged the side of the box. This is what cracked the spider, and this is what cracked the spindle plate. And I think you know, it was damage in shipping, definitely. Okay, so what we're looking at here, this is a Prince Castle Model 8 multi-mixer. 6 spindle multi-mixer. Okay? And I don't know what year, it's late 40s, very early 50 machine. If you're familiar at all with the multi-mixer, it's very similar with the triggering mechanism here, and with the Spindle is similar, however it's mounted with a very long pin through the bottom section rather than 2 screws. It has this single rubber, I don't know what you call it, a shock absorber type thing that allows this to move. And the spider is quite different as well. So basically the spindles, even though they look the same, are slightly different in the way that they mount down here at the bottom. Let's put this on macro, see if we get any better. There's that rubber cushion. The spring looks the same. The little cup trigger looks the same. There's a little similar articulation at the top as they all have. These wheels look like the aluminum wheels that are on some of the early 50 models. However, these are hard rubber, and you'll notice there is no rubber on the friction wheel. Friction wheel looks to be a solid piece of billet aluminum that has been cut on the lathe. However, this one's been dinged up here around this rim. Somebody's been hammering on it a little bit. You can see the dings in it right here. Pretty bad dings there. But what really is interesting now, I wrote the guy and I said, hey, he said, you know, it said it didn't work, and then there's no cord and he couldn't test it. And I just asked him, I said, well, does the friction wheel spin and do all the spindles spin? And he wrote me back and said, everything spins. Everything spins. Well, there's the motor. This thing here is barely spinning. It's very, very hard to turn. Same here. It's not so bad. That's like it's got gum inside. All these, I think the oil is just dried up in them. And we can see some of the oil that leaked out of it and came down is just petrified on there. So I don't know where this thing was sitting. I have one, that one moves very tightly. I have one that wouldn't move at all. I guess there it is. It's that back one. It doesn't want to move. It's messed up inside there. And has this toggle switch and an aluminum base with 4 rubber feet on the aluminum base. It's a 1/4 horsepower motor. You'll notice the little button things that hold the cups on. I really like this unit. I saw it, I wanted it, but I knew it didn't work. And I don't know why this whole thing is spinning on the base. And I wanted to inspect this broken spider mount. It is broken right there. Now, there's no replacing this thing with a new one. There's the expensive option of casting a new one. We could glue this back, use it for a mold, and cast a new one. That would be interesting, but I don't really know that I want to do that. I don't know what to do with it till I get it apart. Now, every one of these spindles is going to have to be rebuilt. or at least disassembled, gunked out, degunked, and then reassessed. Flywheel should be okay. These hard rubber wheels are irreplaceable. What I'll have to do is, if these rubber wheels do not work well, if they're too hardened, and they seem to be pliable enough. So they seem to be, I don't know if you can see that moving. They do bend, they do squish a little. But if they're too hardened and they don't work, we can use metal ones and then put a newer friction wheel on, if they're the same diameter across this way. To measure that one looks to be about 9 inches across, and just eyeballing it, it looks the same size as the one with the rubber on the outside. The other thing is, where is this edge in relation to the hub? This is a 1/2 inch hub. Okay. So I have an older multi-mixer that has a 1/2 inch hub. So most of the newer ones all have 3/4 inch hubs and a fan blade welded to the bottom of the flywheel. And friction wheel. But it's where in relation to the hub is this edge? Is it too high? Is it too low on the new one? Is it just right? That's one of the things that'll determine if you can use a newer friction wheel on this machine. Let's look at the bottom of it. I'm going to turn it over. All right. Look at it. This has the General Electric motor, like all of these do, or most everyone I've ever seen has. The same quarter horsepower motor. And then you can see an aluminum housing. A framework that this outer stainless steel is mounted to. And I don't know why it is that if this is meant to, looks like it's made. Oh yeah. It has little roller bearings there. I don't know if you can see that roller bearing. And that surface there. This is made to rotate. Made to rotate around. That's pretty slick. That is pretty darn cool. However, of course, you got an electric cord coming in here. It should be limited on its travel, one way or the other, so that you don't twist the cord completely off of it. Another thing, we'll take a look at this. This is a cast aluminum piece of metal here. This plate that goes all the way around it. And what I will do is I'll buff this out, make it nice and shiny. I'll buff this out down here, make this nice and shiny. And as for the top, let me set this back up. Right. The top doesn't exist, it's missing. The guy told me he didn't have one. However, he did have a picture of this side, the sidewall. I want to say sidewall, and it's about yay tall. And it goes all the way around. And I'll show you a archive photo, a museum photo of the what it looked like. These were numbered. These spindles were actually numbered. A little round circle that said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 around, and then it had a big badge on the side that said Prince Castle serial number, quarter horsepower motor, all that kind of jazz on it. Now he had a picture of that, but yet he told me that that doesn't exist. So what I'm thinking is he had more than one of these, and he was using the top for the other one. Now the side wall has just a nice stainless steel dome that goes over the top of it, and it's not really a tall dome, so it's really a low profile dome. You'll see in the archive photo. I don't know what I'm going to do to put a lid on here. I'm thinking, just off the top of my head right now, there's a couple of things I could do. I could use stainless steel and make me a stainless steel sidewall, and that would work. But I was also thinking of something really cool, and that would be to take some plexiglass, make a round sidewall, and then when configure I don't know what, make a dome for it with lighting in the dome, and then so like when you turn it on, light comes on, you can see the whole mechanism in there as you're making your shakes. I don't know. It's just an idea. Stainless steel would look more appealing, but you wouldn't be able to see the inside, which I think is kind of a cool thing to do. It doesn't really matter when you're making milkshakes, but you know, if you're collecting antiques, you want to see I don't know what these antique machines look like on the inside. That wouldn't be a bad idea. So the spider is the biggest concern right now. The spindle's next. And whether the motor works or not is also a concern. It just they cut the cord off. These motors, my experience has been, these motors work very well for a long time, and it should run unless it's gotten wet, which I don't see any evidence of that. I see a little bit of rust on these screws, but I don't think that has evidence of anything else that's gotten wet in here. That oil, petrified, dried oil on there. Amazing. That little wafer looks kind of bent on there, but could just be the angle I'm looking at it. All right. Okay. The spindles mount, like I said, with a single long pin that goes all the way across from one side to the other. So there's a lot of play, though, in that bottom mount. You'll see this thing it wobbles back and forth, and when you engage, it tightens up a little bit still. My gosh, you're mixing milkshakes and this thing's just flopping around. I don't know if that's original design or if there's some sort of missing or the spindle, the eyelets in the spindle housing that this pin goes through are just slap worn out that badly. But they're all like that. Every one of these. So, and that, of course, is the broken one. So it's really flopping around there. So that's something to look when we take this apart. Pull the pin, pull out this mounting pin, and disconnect it. You get the spindle out. We'll have to inspect that hole that pin goes through, and just see what in the world's going on. I personally would want to see. I just can't see when you engage this, and it's tight against the friction wheel, and it's still flopping. You see the action there where it makes contact. It's just, to me, would chatter and cause some problems, and I just don't know if I'd want to. I would want to see if I could maybe put a sleeve over the pin, or possibly the pins wore out. I think they could be the wrong size pins. Somebody replaced them, put the wrong sizes in them. I don't know. I don't know. I had to look at it and just kind of figure it out. You know, I would want to tighten that up. To me, that's just too much play. I know they may have designed it that way, but we could probably improve that a little bit somehow. Anyway. Well, that's a look at the Prince Castle Multimixer Model 8. And I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope you all enjoyed watching this video. I hope it was informative. I hope you got something from it. Thanks for coming by. Thanks for viewing my channel. And I want to show you some pictures here at the end. This is first picture is from the Sterling Rock Falls Historical Society. I guess this is the Model 8 that they have in their possession. The next photo is of one that I found that had sold a while back on eBay. It was serial number 538. And this last photo is of the plate that was on this one that I own, that was in this video. Model serial number 585. So if you found this interesting, or you have other information, or you have a Model 8, or you know something about a Model 8, I'd be interested to hear about it. If you know where I can find parts, if you know anything about these machines, just leave a comment down here or contact me through YouTube.